guys, welcome back to my channel, Jamaica Roots TV. Hope you're all doing well today. Thank you for joining me on this video. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. So let's get right into the video. We all heard about all the things that were happening at the Bernard Lodge estate, right? And we saw the demolition, and we saw the soldiers coming in. We saw the guys with the sledgehammers and all of that, and it was very disturbing to watch because a lot of us may not know the history of Bernard Lodge. Like hundreds of slaves were enslaved on those acres, those properties. And still in today, 2022, a lot of our people still do not have homes over their heads. They're still not landowners. They're still not homeowners. And you see entities, big companies coming in and rich individuals in Jamaica being given preference to purchase these lands. One particular person was given 400 acres of this land, right? And I think the first preference should have been to sell the land to the people, the grassroots people, the people on the poverty line, the people who are still struggling after 200 years, right? So emancipation was in 1838 and we're coming up to almost 200 years, and there are people still downtrodden, down in the ground, just barely, grasping to really survive, right? And it's like generation after generation is still suffering. So the Prime Minister should have given the preference to the people to purchase land, to do agriculture, to do whatever they wanted with the land, not give the preference to people who already have money lining their pockets and enriching their families for generations to come, where I think that wealth should be transferred to the poor people of Jamaica, the one who are really down in the dirt, the ones who are really downtrodden and trying to just survive. I'm just going to give you a little background. So in 1829, so that's about 5 years prior to the emancipation, right? Because, it was done in two stages, 1834 and then 1838, full freedom. So in 1829, the property was registered to Adam Ogg of Scotland, who may have inherited it from Daniel Virtue. It was sold in 1829 to Thomas James Bernard, and he lived from 1796 to 1850. And hence the name Bernard Lodge. The family left Jamaica in 1851 to return to Britain following the death of Thomas James Bernard in the cholera epidemic. So I guess he died in some type of cholera epidemic, and the decline of sugar after emancipation. So that's between 1834 and 1838. Bernard's only daughter, Suzanne Agnes Bernard, and she lived from 1836 to 1920. And in 1867, she married Sir John Alexander MacDonald. That's the first Prime Minister of Canada. She was his second wife, Bernard's daughter. She was born at Bernard Lodge in Spanish Town, St. Catherine, Jamaica, and was raised in Jamaica and Britain. She went to Canada in 1854 with her mother, Theodore Folks Hewitt Bernard. She first met MacDonald in 1856. They had a daughter, Margaret, who was severely disabled. Her husband died in 1891. After slavery was abolished in 1838, a lot of people stayed on the plantation. Some left, but many stayed, and they didn't have any option. A lot of them did not have any option, so they stayed and worked for their former enslaver. And this man, Bernard, was one of the enslavers, right? This is his property, and they worked on it. So even after that, they were there working for long periods, generation after generation, still stayed on the plantation there and worked, and for little and nothing. They could hardly feed themselves from what they were paying them after emancipation. Sometimes we question things because we're wondering how come the land, 400 acres of this land that our foreparents toiled, suffered, bled on, was sold, right? So shouldn't that land be divided up? Because so many people are in up to this point in 2022. So many of our people are homeless, right? And we should be looking right now to get homes over their heads. Too many people are homeless. We need to pull them out of the suffering that they're going through, right? And make a lot of them homeowners and landowners because they've suffered enough. I was just in some research and I found this article about 400 acres being sold. We should be looking to put ownership and land ownership in our people's hands first, right? So let me just give you a little bit of history. I was looking up some names of the enslaved on the Bernard Lodge property, but I couldn't find any of the enslaved names, right? That 400 acres was sold to a Mr. Do Agriculture, right? So we're enriching the rich. We need to pull up the poor. They've been poor for hundreds of years, right? Their foreparents suffered, died, and bled on those property, on that piece of land right there. And I don't know why the land was not just divided and given to people who do not own homes, or people who are really suffering out there and need a home over their head. It's time to pull up the poor, right? For hundreds of years, generation after generation have been poor. And we cannot be enriching the rich. They already have money. It's just money on top of money on top of money. They are suffering. And if you don't try to pull up this generation, then it will just keep repeating itself. It's a cycle, right? So we need to pull them up and make them landowners and homeowners. So just to move on from this, I noticed that the Prime Minister said that the people be given an option to acquire a parcel of land or a starter unit or a full unit. And the government has been modeling its target prices with that of the nearby St. Catherine estates, which has units starting at 6.5 million, right? So the St. Catherine estates, their unit starts at that. So maybe I'm thinking a 1-bedroom, Mr. Prime Minister. The whole project, you managed to get a 3-bedroom for 6 million. The people would have to go now and purchase a 1-bedroom or a little box. Maybe it's not even a 1-bedroom for $6 million. I don't get this. Something is not right with this, right? Because if you gave them the land, the government transferred the land, it was approved by the Parliament, and the land was transferred to NHT and also HAJ, right? That's the Housing Association of Jamaica, to model the St. Catherine estate price. Was land given to the St. Catherine estates? Why are they modeling the same price when this land was given from the government to them to lower the cost? And you did 3-bedroom homes for 6 million or just under 6 million with the whole project. So why are these now going to be a starter unit, which is, to me, when you say starter unit, it's just a little box, maybe not even a 1-bedroom. I'm thinking 1-bedroom or less. When you say starter, could be less than a 1-bedroom, right? $6 million, something totally wrong right there. I do understand that the whole project may not have the capacity or the experience to do mass building, right? It will be done in phases because of the volume. So you may not have the expertise, the equipment, the expertise, all of that, right? It's going to take someone who is used to that type of volume, an entity, an organization like the NHT. They know how to handle that type of volume, right? But the prices, the starting prices, someone needs to look at this. It needs to be revisited, because if you're saying you donated the land, why are the units so expensive if the land is donated? We need to make sure that people are getting a fair shake. People are so eager to get into a home and to own land that right now they're going around corners, right? In desperation of owning land or a home. Because if you work your hard to earn money and then you're going to hand it over to a man, a person that nobody knows the name of these people. Allegedly, money was handed over 600,000, 800,000. That's a lot of money if that was done, right? So you can see the desperation in people. We need these prices to be revisited because you were able to do it. A 3-bedroom home, you were able to do that under $6 million or just about $6 million with the whole project. Of course, the land was owned by the people who got the homes, right? Or at least the landowners gave permission for that building to be constructed on that piece of land if they did not own the land. So I'm not sure why these homes are going to be this pricey. Is the NHT going to be making a huge profit off this? It's too much for poor people to handle, honestly. Their foreparents suffered, died, bled and on this property, on this piece of land, right? Because they were sugar estates. And the last owner really during the slavery time was Thomas Bernard, right? So that's why the name stuck. 1,400 acres of land. 3,027 is the largest dedicated to agriculture. 3,000 plus will be dedicated to agriculture. 2,370 of that is housing, light industrial, and commercial. And 1,225 acres would be for urban centers, social services, and all of that, right? Mixed residential and open recreational space, right? The people with the money just keep layering it on, and the ones who are down in the dirt and just trying to pull themselves up. After all of this, I think these people in Jamaica shouldn't be buying land. The very poor. They should be cutting up all these sugar estate land and giving it to the poor because their foreparents died, bled, suffered there, and they've already paid that price. And then you're going to pick people who originally weren't even from Jamaica. They have no foreparents who died and bled during slavery and just sell them acres of that land. And their foreparents' blood and sweat is on that land. So they should be the first preference. Very poor should be given the first opportunity. Either a very little is collected or zero free. So that's my opinion. And it's really sad to know that, yes, they didn't follow proper procedures or anything like that. But, they've just to hire a lawyer in Jamaica, it's a lot of money. So until we make lawyer fees less expensive or a channel where the poor people can go to, like bypass those expensive lawyers and go to other entities that are set up to register land for them to do their paperwork, to do their documents. Otherwise, you're going to have them cutting corners because it's going to cost $300,000 for a lawyer or $200,000 or so for a lawyer, and they really don't have it. Thanks for joining me on this video. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Take care of yourself and others. Bye for now. See you on the next video.